we wanted to go ahead and bring you a live event. I know it's been a few days since we've discussed pretty much anything. We have a draft show coming up here any
Yes.
minute now, but I wanted to get your take, Chris, on the whole Shadir Sanders situation that's happening right now. Now, obviously, we all know what happened with Shadir. He was projected first round.
Right.
At one point, he was considered possibly a number one overall pick. Drafts goes ahead and gets drafted all the way back down to the fifth round. What's 144th pick, I believe. So, Chris, overall, do you think that he was handled correctly? You think that it's something to where there's any foul play involved in this whole situation, or is it just hey, it is what it is? He was drafted in the fifth round, and that's what's up.
Yeah, Florida Man Sports streaming on all major platforms. So please, I know we're doing this live. Do like, share, subscribe wherever you watch your podcasts, and it's justified. At the end of the day, I said, and I stand by it, that he's not a first round pick. I saw him going in the second round.
Okay.
Then he had his pro day, and got it right that time. And in his pro day, he raised his stock. But the problem, Johnny, that I have and that I see is that his pro day he went up, then he runs his mouth and it goes down. And I don't want to hear this race card. I don't want to hear that, oh, it's because, you don't want to see a person of color having that kind of dialogue and not being successful. It's because you have him and you have Cam Ward. And look at what Cam Ward was doing. So let's celebrate Cam Ward, who was drafted number one overall as a black man, rightfully so. And Sanders, you did this to yourself. You had a good pro day. The Browns, the Giants, they spent millions of dollars to get out there to break bread with you, and you blew it. So you have nobody to blame but yourself.
Yeah, listen, bad decisions were made. I'm not going to get into the race car thing. Give me a break. 90% of the
I'm
NFL
saying that
are
that's what people were
I
saying.
know, but 90% of the NFL is black players here. So let's just go ahead and get over that. Let's not go and sit here and make this about a race thing. It's
Right.
really not. This isn't a Colin Kaepernick situation. At the end of the day, he got bad advice. He came into this thinking that he was Deion Sanders. Now, Deion Sanders, when he was getting drafted and the whole thing, you've been documented where teams that were drafting in the 8-9 position or something around there that were calling him, asking him to work out for them, and he's like, I ain't gonna drop that far. So there's no point in me going working out for you. So there's that earned arrogance. We like our athletes to go ahead and be humble because they're getting millions of dollars, be grateful for it. But still, those special players, we accept the fact that they're a little arrogant about it. They're a little just in your face. We're okay. And he got that advice, I'm assuming, from his pops to go ahead and do that type of interview. So every report I've read, Chris, was about how that every interview that Shadir Sanders did was this arrogant, in your face, like I'm the
Well,
man.
right. So you have that, and I think that ultimately, if this was a soup, it was a soup that was planned to fail, right?
Yeah.
And here's why. Here's why. Let's say he drops like he did in the second round. Who's his agent? So who's the agent making the calls? Who's the agent
Yeah,
saying,
well,
you know
yeah,
what, you need to pick up this guy? What's going on? He didn't have
yeah, it
one.
was the pops.
It's his
Yeah, I
dad,
got you.
exactly. So it was just, I hate to say this, we didn't see it coming, but it was meant to fail. And I'll leave it with this, since it's not a race issue. Now let's look at the other card that everybody wants to argue, the owners. The owners all got together. The owners all made a decision that they weren't going to pick him. Number one, I don't agree with that. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that that is what happened. Okay, let's just say that.
Okay.
You have a right as an owner to decide where your franchise goes. And if you don't want this to be the head of your franchise as the quarterback, then you have every right to make that decision. You don't have to apologize to anybody. And again, so now you can't use the race card, you can't use the owner card. Sanders, I want you to be successful. I hope that you are successful. Going into the Browns would be a whole nother topic for us to discuss of how hard it is to be a successful quarterback with the Browns. That's a whole nother conversation. But I do genuinely want you to be successful. It just sounds to me that you need a little bit of a humble pie, and here
Well,
it
he
is.
got it.
Now, what are you going to do with it? That's the question.
Well, I mean, I get it. At the end of the day, if you're going to go ahead and be that arrogant, reportedly, you got to have some hardware to back it up.
Right.
I don't see a Heisman Trophy. I don't see a national championship. I don't even see you win your conference. I don't see you win. There was no Big 12, championship won by Colorado. The kid had a couple of games over 500. It was at the end of the day. That was his final stat sheet for Colorado. He has some talent, but you didn't have that earned arrogance to go ahead and be running your mouth and kind of doing the things that reportedly you were doing.
Right.
So he's definitely going to have that humble pie. He's definitely going to have to deal with that. But
Yeah,
unfortunately,
you got 5 quarterbacks in Cleveland. What are you gonna
unfortunately
do?
for him, he gets drafted by the Cleveland Browns, and he has 5 quarterbacks. So if this could be something special for him in terms of like if he actually comes out of this as a success story. Because if he does this with the Cleveland Browns, this is bigger than what Tom Brady did. It's bigger than what Mr. Relevant, Purdy
That's a good
does.
point.
It's something to with the Cleveland Browns and bring them back to relevant. Fight through that whole quarterback room and find a way to go ahead and lead this team to some type of relevance. Then respect to you. But right now, it's an uphill battle, my friend.
Is it fair to say this, Johnny? Is it fair to say that you can say that, hey, I can see why he went in the 5th round, and at the same time still wish him well and want him to be successful? Because I believe you can do both. I'm not laughing at him for being a 5th round pick.
No.
All I'm saying is I get it. I understand why he became a 5th round pick, unfortunately, but I still want him to do well, and I think that's okay.
Well, the greatest quarterback of all time was drafted in the 6th round, so it's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just coming down to where you just need to understand that this is still a job you're interviewing for.
Right.
So obviously, this is a job. This is a amazing thing that you get a potential to go ahead and play in the NFL and be a quarterback and make whatever money and have the fame that comes with it. But just come in with a little more humility and come in with a little more kind of respect for the game. And the owners made that happen because and we saw him go ahead and get that phone call, from Cleveland Browns. You saw how happy he was. It was so like, okay, there was no arrogance behind it. It was all humility, all gratefulness. Like, hey, I got my shot. Now I'm going to try to make the best of it. There was that nonsense that what happened with the Falcons. Son, the GM
Oh,
son,
the prank call,
prank
yeah.
call.
Yeah, that's terrible.
The NFL investigating it. It was a big mess here. That's a whole nother story we'll talk about. But for this kid to go ahead, all right, he's on the right track now. It's set up for him to have a great story. So what are you going to do with this now? What are you going to do? Are you going to go ahead and crumble under this immense pressure? Dude, this is not easy, Chris. There's 5 quarterbacks in this quarterback room.
Right.
Now, Watson, give me a break. He's done.
Yeah, after this season, I believe now we can cut ties after this year. That's what's going to
Yeah,
happen.
it's that's not a realistic thing there. But obviously, they went ahead and signed Flacco. Here's and there. They drafted a quarter. Not just the fact that they drafted a quarterback before you in the 3rd round. So it just comes down to like, all right, Sanders, what are you going to do with this? They disrespected you. All these teams passed on you. Your own team drafted a quarterback before you. They don't think you're the guy. They drafted you just to go ahead and be like, all right, a throwaway. Let's see what you can do. You're talking that. Can you walk that walk? Let's see.
Now can you be legendary like you said you were going to be? Florida Man Sports, again, we are streaming on all major platforms. I want to remind everybody that going forward next week, we will be going live from here on out, just testing out our hardware, if
That's
you
going
will,
to be interesting.
to make sure that everything is working as we're going live. So tomorrow, the episode loads, so you can watch as far as our draft grades for Jacksonville, Tampa Bay, and for Miami. Until then, Johnny Cinco, any last words?
No, sir. We appreciate you guys watching. Enjoy the rest.
Yes, let's go.